right, guys, so what do we have going on in the garage today? Well, today we're going to feature the TP150. This is an XTOOL TPMS system tool. And what we aim to do here in this particular video here is that we're going to go through the menu, talk about a few things. Then we're going to do like a TPMS diagnostics, show you how to do that, sensor programming, activation, and the relearn process. So basically the core features of how to use this tool and how to get the most out of it. So I'm going to just back over a second just to show you the entire unit. I just have it strapped down here at the bottom so that way it'll make videoing easier. But let's get a little closer to the screen here. You can see we have 5 options here. TPMS, recent test, options, upgrade, and about. Everything is exactly what it says. So let's just run through the menu real quick. And there's a few things to talk about here. I'm gonna come back to the TPMS last, obviously. So if you just go to recent runs, recent tests, it'll just show you all the tests you just did recently. You can just back right out of here. And then once you back out, if you go down to options, now this actually is something important here I need to show you. Now everything here is pretty straightforward, like your pressure sensor unit, temperature unit, but those are all well and good. You can set those to your personal preference, but if you go here to ID setting, if you go in, you got 3 choices: auto, decimal, and hexadecimal. I set mine to decimal because, like, if you have to manually write a number down and input it, it's only going to be numbers. But if you do auto, it's going to automatically pick whichever it wants, and that's going to pick the hexadecimal. The hexadecimal is going to include letters and numbers. So just know which one you want. If not, if it's on auto, just know that it's on hexadecimal. Okay, we're going to back out of here. And now another thing to put in right here where it says district setting. If you go in here, by default, it's going to be on China. So just pick whatever district that you're in here relative to the area. And I don't necessarily know what'll happen if you don't, but I feel like if you do, it'll likely make your user experience a whole lot better. All right, going over to upgrade. Now, this is an interesting one here. Now, when you go into upgrade, it's going to check, see if you're going to do a USB upgrade on the Wi-Fi. So you go to Wi-Fi. If you're on Wi-Fi, I'm going to Wi-Fi. Now, what's important about this is that I want to show you what's going to happen here. That out of the box, you're going to have an update probably to the firmware. Okay, after you install that and reboot the device, check updates again and make sure, because what will happen is that when I updated my initial firmware, I rebooted it, went back to update. There were 7 more updates for each district. So check this update thing, say 2, 3, or even 4 times you want, just to make sure that you see this right here. There are no packages that need to be updated. When you do that, you know that the scan tool, or the TPMS tool, if you will be updated to the most current software, and it will likely improve your user experience. All right, so it's back out of here. Now, if you go down to about, it's just what you think. It's just an about menu, tell you the software, serial number, the password. The password is actually just the activation code and a little bit more information. All right, let's back out of here. Now we're going back to TPMS. So when you're in the TPMS, you go ahead and pick your area. I'm in America. I'm in a Buick. I've been doing it. Buick is a GM vehicle. For those that don't know, I'm pretty sure everybody probably know that, but it may be somebody out there who does not. This is a General Motors, or what you would call a GM branded vehicle, Buick. Scroll down to lacrosse. And we're going to pick the appropriate year range. In my car, so 2009 to 2013. And then up pops this menu here where you can have check, diagnostics, programming, relearn, and information. We're mainly just going to go over the diagnostics, programming, and relearning. I will get out the car and check, do a check in the end after I do everything sitting right here in the car. But information, just give you information on, since I may actually go across that as well, but I want to just stick to the core features to make sure if you use this tool, you'll know how to use it, because I'm hoping I can get this across to DIYers, because people that's professionals, they probably already know how to do this. So if you take these core features with you into your garage and learn how to remove a tire, or maybe not even take the whole tire off, just break the bead, you will be able to change your tire pressure sensors. And that way you can save yourself a lot of time, a lot of money, and just a lot of hassle of having to go around and deal with shops. All right. So first of all, let's go up into diagnostics. The diagnostics, now why this is important is that well, you need to get in your car. Let me turn my switch on here. The diagnostics is important. Let's just say if your sensor is dead and you want to put a new sensor in the car.
Mode. Bluetooth.
But the sensor is dead, you can't go around and check it, so therefore you can't get the the hex number or the decimal number from the sensor. I recommend to always go through the ECU. And the reason being is that you're always going to get whatever the computer sees, no matter what, even if this sensor is dead or not. You just may, in some cases, if the battery is still good, of course, you don't have to manually input it. But again, I still would recommend going through the ECU, getting that information no matter what. So in diagnostics mode, we're going to go ahead and hit OK here. We're going to communicate, and there it is. See, as you see here, these are the decimal numbers here. All of these are just straight digits. Hexadecimal would comprise of numerical numbers and would be an alphanumeric string. Let's just say that. All right, so here at the bottom, you notice we got a little arrow going to the right. We right now says retry diagnostics, but if we just scroll to the right, you'll see that we can do OBD relearn, read DTC, and even clear DTC. So it does say here that I have one DTC. So I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to try to clear it. Now, we'll say this, that when I changed my TPMS sensor in my one of a few videos ago, which you can check that video out, I have that linked in the pinned comment. The DTC was present. I tried to clear it and it wouldn't clear. And it's probably no fault of the TPMS tool. I may just have to use a regular scan tool and do it. So anyway, let's just try it again. Okay, we don't read DTC. Let's read it and see what it says. Trouble codes 1. We're going to hit yes. Hit OK. And it says refer. It's just some generic code. It says please refer to our service manual. Basically, when my battery died, it's just saying go to service. Now you notice it doesn't say owner's manual. It says service manual. So basically it's saying go to the dealership is basically what that's saying. So all right, I'm going to back out. And now let's go back to where it's right here where it says clear DTC. We're going to hit OK. DTCs have been successfully erased. Let's see what happens. All right, DTC count. Okay, let's hit retry diagnosis and see what happened. DTC count. Yeah, see, that's what I was saying. It's read DTC. Trouble codes 1. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's like, oh, now that's a different number now. See, that says B33883 while ago was 2 something. I can't remember the number. Let's back out. Let's go back and see. Maybe what it was when I tried to delete it, it was just more codes that was, okay, let's try clear DTC again. DTC count 1. Okay, let's hit retry diagnosis. And let's hit read code. Let's see if it's a different DTC here. It's still the same one. Okay, well, you see what I'm saying? It's just a, I'll try to erase it again and see what happens. But again, it's no fault of the scan of the tool itself. Again, I've had this problem with this car before when I changed it in the past. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that you are able to read the DTCs for your TPMS system. And if your car doesn't have any issues like apparently my car here has, you will be able to erase that DTC. All right, so anyway, these numbers here, these sensor IDs and the OBD IDs, basically these numbers have to match. So if you were to go around and scan these sensors and the OBD says something different, it would not read that sensor for this car in terms of using it for the tire pressure monitoring system. So let's just say, for example, if your front left battery was dead, you would write that number down, 919385791 555. You'd write that number down, and you would go back out, and when you go to program it, you could actually manually input that. We'll take a look at that in a second. So let's just back out of diagnostics, because that was just really what you would see. You see basically in diagnostics, you see what the ECU sees, you're able to see DTCs, and you're able to clear those DTCs. All right, so let's go down to programming real quick. I'm gonna hit OK. Now here we go. You can do auto create. There's 4 options here, but main options you're likely going to use are copy by OBD or copy by input. Okay, so I'll just show you what'll happen if you do by input. So if you go to input here, one sensor can be programmed by manual ID input. You hit OK. And now that number that I had 19 something something number, you would put that right there where it says please enter ID, but make sure that you toggle left and right. Make sure that you pick the right appropriate. In my case, it would be decimal. If you did use the hexadecimal, you just mainly have to put in whichever type of number you're putting in right here. All right, and then once you go through that, it should just be straightforward. So what we're gonna do, we have a sensor right here. I'm going to change my 2 front, not on this video, I'm not going to change it, but I'm going to program it, and I'm going to relearn this to my car. I believe I can do it sitting right here in the seat, so let's go ahead and try that. All right, so let's try copy by. We can do copy by activation as well. We'll try it. Okay, so this right here is a hexadecimal number, so let's just do front left here. Hit OK. Please place the sensor by that needs to be programmed. Okay, so we put this sensor here. There it is, just like that. And so now, because we got multiple ones on the screen, let me verify which number I have here. I have the one that ends in 377. So that's the one. And then we hit the little button right here to program it, because it says it right here. Hit the little, I guess, radio signal button for programming. And we're going to go ahead and hit that. Let me make sure that that was close. I'm gonna still put it close by. Make sure that goes. All right, as you can see now, that serial number, now that ID now has that hexadecimal number that was on my front left. So this thing here now is programmed. And the other one, now that other one, 351, I just scanned it earlier to test it out. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and hit, let's return. Let's go out of here. Now, we are going to back out again. I'm going to show you how to do it by OBD, copy by OBD. So OBD is actually the way to go. We're going to hit OK here on the screen. Hit OK. And now I'm going to program this sensor here. Let me make sure everything is far enough away here. I need to actually keep up with these so I know which one is going where. But I'll write that on my box later. I'm going to program this one here for the front right. This one here, this right here. You should see this number here pop up ending in 135. And let's hit OK. We're going to hold that sensor close by, right up to the back of this unit. Should be able to read it. And there you have that. That is the one that ends in 135. All we got to do now is hit the little radio signal. We hit that. And I'm going to just still hold this back here because I'm not entirely for sure if you're supposed to or not. I think so. But I'm going to hold this here. All right, that one has the hex ID that belongs to my front right. So what's going to happen is that when I change my 2 in the front, and when I change those out, all I have to do is pretty much just put those in there. So let's back out of here. All right, so now let's go back again. So now what I'm gonna do is, since we've done that part, let's go back. I want to go to information real quick. Just to show, we're gonna verify these things. So we go up here, information, hit OK, and where it says our self-owned sensor, that's one of these sensors here. If you go to the OEM, what it does, if you go to the OEM, it just tells you, it gives you the OEM part number, so you can look that part number up for this car if somebody wants to go OEM. A lot of times the part numbers have changed, but you should be able to cross-reference those numbers, but that's what this right here shows you. All right, so we go here to self-owned sensor. Let's go ahead. Now, don't forget, this here is the one, this one here is the one, and the one that ends in 135. Now we hit OK, and now we just hold this sensor right back here to the top of the unit, and it should read it. And it should tell us that it's been programmed. Let's see. All right, there we go. And let's see, does it give us any indication that it's been, let me see here, we scroll down. Can you scroll down to anything? Bootloader. I'm trying to see. One thing I do like about this, look, it gives you the voltage. Now that's important. That lets you know how strong the battery is. So, because again, those little button batteries that are in these sensors are 3 volts. So if it's 3 volts, that means that, well, pretty good and strong. All right, let's see, can we find out if it's, I guess it doesn't give you, it says sensor ID. It doesn't really show the sensor ID there, but for some, I guess it just defaults to that, but it should have showed that it was, let me try another one here. Let's go here to information here. Let's try this one here. Okay. Let's see here. Programming TPMS. Programming device TP. So yeah, that's what, how you can tell, let's just go ahead. I think in there it's just defaulting to showing you that, but let's go right here to check. What we'll do is this. We'll pretend that these here are all on the front right and front left. That's what we'll do. We go to check. And we'll say yes, we want to. Okay, this is just saying put it to the rubber side, and now this is up here. So all we do is hit this little, you hit the little button here. Just put this here. Okay. Then what we'll do is hit the little button again. See how fast it reads it. Right now it's just showing right now it's just showing the tire pressure on the cars. I'll hit backwards. Sorry about that. Let's do that again. Okay, so then if you go down, oh, now it's showing. See, it's showing the actual ID. See, they've been programmed. You see the ID, the hex ID. I mean the decimal ID. It's showing that. So if you go back here, so you can tell that they have been programmed, but those are the decimal IDs. That ends in 155 and 147. So what we could do, we can back out, go back into diagnostics here to verify that. So we know that sensor ID 155, 147, that, hold up here, let me back out for 1 second. Let's go back in. I'm gonna try something here. I'm gonna start right from the beginning here. Communicate. Let's start right from the beginning here. So yeah, we can see that the front right has that 155 number. I mean, the front left does, and the front right has a 147 number. So we know that these two sensors right here are programmed, ready to go in this car here with no problem. Just like that. All right, so now, if we go to Relearn, so just imagine if you already install, your sensors and tires and things and like that. All right, so if you go to Relearn, you can do an OBD relearn or stationary relearn. So OBD relearn, you just relearn procedure, set the vehicle in gear. It gives you all this little information right here. And then you just hit OK, and it's going to communicate. Please trigger all sensors before learning. So basically what will happen is that you go around to trigger all sensors here. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get out of the car. We're gonna trigger these sensors and we're gonna do an OBD relearn. All right, guys, we're back here. We're gonna trigger all the tires here. We're gonna hit OK here. All right, so here we go. We're gonna do the check, and then that way we can do the OBD relearn. So, okay, once we trigger these tires, we would then be able to do an OBD relearn. So we're gonna go ahead and hit OK. We do want to clear last sensor data. We're gonna go ahead and hit yes. And then for GM, make sure that it's close to the rubber is all this is saying. So this is for the first tire here. We just go ahead, each tire, you just hit this little radio signal right here and it activates the signaler and it picks up the signal. So let's do it. Just like that. We're gonna go ahead over here. We're gonna get ready to hit this one here again. Okay. It says 0, but that's only because it's picking up the one inside the car, but that's okay. I'll take that one in the house later away from the car so it won't read it, then I'll just relearn it again. This here is just for demonstration, just to show you how to relearn. All right, so now, okay. Tire pressure activation is complete. It says tire pressure activation complete. Do you want to enter the pressure diagnose and learning phase? All right, so to do the OBD relearn, I'm gonna now have to connect back to my unit here, to the car, and then I'm gonna commence to doing that. So let me set everything up and give me 1 second. All right, guys, we're back here. We're gonna go ahead and do this OBD2 relearn. We're gonna go ahead and hit OK here. We're gonna communicate with the yeah, that scared me a little bit. So what it is now, I just done a check with all the tires on the car. And what's gonna happen is that each sensor now is going to be programmed into the car, and the horn blowing is letting you know that it's been successful. And there we have it, just like that. That should be the end of it, I believe. OBD relearn success, perfect. Yeah, so anyway, guys, that's how you do a relearn. And just to recap everything we did, we done diagnostics, we programmed, and we activated the unit. And we also dug into how you can tell, how to pick information up from your self-owned sensors, and also how to use this tool to check your tires. So with that said, guys, this has been the XTOOL TP150. This tool is a strong little tool for TPMS sensors, and their brand is quite strong in the market these days. And I highly recommend XTOOL products. And that's because, again, as you've seen on my channel, I have, obviously I'm not saying because they've pretty much sent me every single XTOOL that I own, but they do have good quality. They do have good customer service. They do have good support for their devices. And it's not a lot to be said other than that. So with that said, guys, take care. And if you got any questions, put them down in the comments below and we'll try to answer them. Thank you.